gracias, Bambinos. JD here. Good to have you on board. Not trying to do my best impression of Barry White, just dealing with a head and chest something or other that's coursing its way through my body. So in my non-best Barry White, welcome to the program. I do appreciate you taking your time to spend it with us here on the program, where intellectual anarchy is encouraged and nurtured for now. Marcelo working the board and giving me advice on how to get rid of this. Chicken soup and tequila is his favorite remedy. Hopefully not together, but I do understand the sentiment there. Brad is producing the program for us today. Poll question up there for you today at the website, jerrydoyle.com. Did I get to the button in time? I hope I did. The Iowa finish of Romney, Santorum, and Paul has produced three clear distinctions within the Republican Party. So I asked the question, which of the following most benefits the country? Is it Romney, the moneyed establishment wing? Is it Santorum, the classic social conservative wing? Or is it Paul, the libertarian small government wing? Right now, 5% say Romney, 24% say Santorum, and 71% say Ron Paul. You can say it there at the website or here at 800-876-4123. As I was looking at the writings with regard to the slim victory that Romney had over Rick Santorum, and his numbers, I mean, just staggering where they came from, considering where they were. Rick Santorum, December 9th, 5.6%. December 15th, 6%. December 27th, 7.7%. January 3rd caucus, 24.5%, only 8 votes behind Mitt Romney, and a substantial margin over Ron Paul. So where did Santorum come from? How did he benefit? What was responsible for his rise in the polls? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But in looking at how people are parsing up these results out of Iowa, the kickoff to the real campaign for 2012, a lot of writing is being done about this being a campaign going forward for the soul of the Republican Party. And I think that's important because this is a battle that has been going on since the inception of the Tea Party. And the Tea Party sent the message to Washington that it was not going to be business as usual. And then the Tea Party movement sent a lot of freshman Republican to Congress to tell them that it was not going to be business as usual. Well, the newbies met up with the oldies, and the oldies tried to tell the newbies that, slow down, sonny, this is the way we do things here in Washington, D.C. And that battle has been playing itself out, and it seems to be playing itself out even more now that it seems that the race is down to probably 4 people that would be considered to have any real possibility going forward. That would be Romney, Santorum, Paul, and Gingrich. Michelle Bachmann today dropped out of the race. Rick Perry last night said he was heading back to Austin, Texas to see if there was a path forward. Apparently, when Michelle Bachmann decided to leave the path, Rick Perry figured out maybe there's a little extra room on the path, and he can pick up her 5 or 6 points. That might make him legitimate in the contest. So he says it's on to South Carolina. But when you look at who's really leading the pack right now, it really does lend itself to this notion of fighting for the soul of the Republican Party. Now let's take a look at Romney, the moneyed establishment kind of Chamber of Commerce candidate. You know, he's that guy that you see in the Old Navy ads, the mannequin. Always looks good. If you hit the light just right on his head, you'll get the ding off his teeth. The hair's always in perfect place. And he's got all the right connections. He's got all of the secret handshakes. He knows where the smoke-filled rooms are, and he knows how the deals are done. And you got Johnny McAmnesty coming out today and endorsing Mitt Romney in New Hampshire. Oh, I heard a funny line about that. They were talking about the difference between Iowa and New Hampshire. The guy in New Hampshire, who's some state rep up there, he said, Iowa picks corn, New Hampshire picks presidents. Good line, not mine, but that's what they think about Iowa and New Hampshire and Iowa. But now you got Johnny McAmnesty. Is that an endorsement you'd want if you were Mitt Romney? Johnny McAmnesty, the non-conservative conservative? I mean, everybody always has to, and here's the thing about John McCain, too. Everybody has to go, you can't say anything about John McCain if it's not positive without saying, and we appreciate his service to the country. How long do we have to keep saying it? It's like Happy New Year. It's January 4th already. Get over it. Okay, you served your country. You're in a prisoner of war camp. Got it. But now it's like you can't criticize John McCain without having to throw that out there. But now here you got Johnny McAmnesty, who was a lousy candidate for the Republican Party. He was a lousy opponent to Barack Obama. And now you've got Johnny McAmnesty saddling up to Mitt Romney. I would have to think that, if anything, would doom Mitt Romney's chances going forward. For the people out there who are truly concerned about what the future of the Republican Party is and what a Republican conservative party, a supposed conservative party, is going to look like. Then you got Santorum, the classic social conservative. This is what I call the social issue suck-up candidate, Rick Santorum. Now, in the movie Field of Dreams, Iowa, if you build it, they will come. And with Santorum, if you pander, obviously, they will come. If you pander to the religious right, they will come, they will show up, they will vote. As he said last night, God has given us this great country to allow his people to be free. I offer a public thanks to God. Well, good for you. Good for you, Rick. You know, I look at Santorum and I say, is that the future of the Republican Party? This is a guy who says no abortion, even in the case of rape or incest? Really? That's the future of the Republican Party? Let me just tell the Republican Party that things are changing in this country. It's not the way it was. And you might not like the way it is or the way it's going, but there are certain trends that are taking place. There are certain things that are happening. And what is the handle typically given to the Republicans by people in the Republican Party, Democrat Party, independents in the media, about what is the makeup of the Republican Party? Too white, too right, too uptight. That's the handle I gave them at the CPAC a couple of years ago in Washington, D.C. They're just too uptight, and they're too right. And now Santorum's going to be the guy that comes forward going, oh, no abortion, even in the case of rape. Really? Now, look, I have to remind people of this. I believe life begins at conception. I'm adopted. And being adopted, I'm glad that I was given the choice to have a choice about choice. But when it comes to this kind of ultra right-wing kind of statements coming out of people like Santorum and sucking up to these far-right whack job evangelicals in the Republican Party, you're not going to attract new people to your party. If the Republican Party wants to be about a big tent, watch TV. Get an idea about what's going on out there. What's the number one comedy out there right now? It's on ABC. It's on tonight, as a matter of fact, Wednesday night. It's called Modern Family. Modern Family. 3 different families. Old guy, hot wife, younger wife. Then you got the mom, dad, kind of functional, dysfunctional family. And you got the 2 gay guys that adopt a child and are now thinking about adopting a second child. It's the number one comedy. And it's not just watched by fellow Hollywoodites or just far-left liberals. It's watched by people across the spectrum who think it is just a funny show because it shows us what life is really like and becoming. And I know there's a lot of people that think that's unbecoming to our country, that you could possibly have 2 gay men bringing a child into their home and wanting to corrupt them into thinking that gay is the way. Well, guess what, folks? That's a reality. Now, I've lost stations because of my policy on gay adoption, and I will not back off from it. My policy on gay adoptions, mom and dad, that's the best environment you can raise a child in. A mom and a dad in an intact marriage, married to each other, a man and a woman raising children in that home is perfect. But we don't live in a perfect world. And having been in the adoption process, having been in an orphanage, and thankfully being adopted at a relatively young age, there are others that aren't so lucky. There are kids that get to the unadoptable teens. There are kids that get to the unadoptable prospect of having emotional problems or physical challenges. It's the difference. You see a puppy versus a 12-year-old dog, you're going to go, I want the puppy. 12-year-old dog is an old dog set in its ways. You look at these kids, it's the same thing. And they get kicked from foster home to foster home to foster home. And I've said on the air that in this imperfect world that we live in, if a couple of gay guys happen to want to take that child in and love that child and nurture that child and tell that child that they're special, that we love you, we care about you, and we're going to make sure that you have a place to live and you have food on the table, and we're going to make sure you get a good education, and we're going to try and give you the best send-off we can in life. That's the country today, folks. And I know there are a lot of hard righties out there, a lot of people way on the right that just go, that's ridiculous. There's a man and a woman home for every child in this country. Well, maybe in your Hollywood version of It's a Wonderful Life world that you live in, you think that exists, but it doesn't. But in the Rick Santorum world, it does. Note to the Santorum followers out there, this isn't your parents' Republican Party. This isn't your grandparents' country. This is called modern America. This is called Modern Family, the comedy that gives us a little insight into how things are changing. Now, how do you attract the youth vote who watch Modern Family? How do you get them? And why is Ron Paul getting the youth vote? Why is he getting them to come his way? Because there was a great commentary that goes to a part of this. And it has to do with the fact that the kids that are between 17 and 29 years old are seeing their friends between 17 and 29 years old going off to Iraq and Afghanistan and getting blown to bits and coming back missing arms and legs or both. And wondering, what's this really all about? Are we really in wars, or is this combat to commerce? And Ron Paul says, hey, we got to take a look at what we're doing as the peacekeepers of the world. We have to take a look at where our priorities lie. We have to take a look at how we look at the relationship between government and the individual. And how is he getting the youth vote? And how is he getting more money in contributions from the military than all the other candidates combined? Those are the ones that are fighting the wars. Those are the ones that are seeing their buddies' heads turn to goo. Those are the ones that saying, maybe what we're doing isn't what we should be doing. And maybe we do have to beware the military-industrial complex.
The Jerry Doyle Show.
Romney, Santorum, Paul. The moneyed establishment wing, the classic social conservative wing, the libertarian small government wing. I didn't put all of the above because I wanted you to answer it in one of those three areas, because that seems to be what the choices given are going to determine the future of the Republican Party to be. You can answer it there at the website or here at 800-876-4123. I'm Jerry Doyle. Join me.
The Jerry Doyle Show.